If you are a small channel or someone just starting out on their YouTube journey, then you should be doing all of these things in 2024 to grow your YouTube channel, get more views and get more subscribers. And even if you are an established channel, then these insights are still going to help you grow and make more money. Because I'm pretty sure many of the things I'm going to talk about, you're not doing. Especially the last one. Even big creators like Mr. Beast recommend it. And yet so many creators ignore this simple advice. But first, we need to start at the beginning. You've got to know who's watching your videos and what else they're into. And why is that, I hear you ask? Well, knowing your audience can change your channel from making a couple of pennies each day to pulling in serious cash every single month. The numbers you see, the views, the likes, they're all people. And to get more of those numbers, you need to figure out what makes people tick. You can run voting polls on your channel because everybody has access to the community tab these days. You can ask them about their values and their likes. Everything you do to engage with your viewers paints a clearer picture of who they are. And if you haven't yet built up a community, that's all right. You can borrow other channels' communities to do this. Simply read the comments on other people's videos who are similar to yours, and that will give you the insights at least to get you started. To find an audience's beliefs and dislikes through video comments, you can search for specific phrases that indicate strong opinions, preferences, or dissatisfaction. Here are some short phrases to look out for. I wish. This can reveal what an audience hopes to see or experience in the future. It indicates their desires or unmet needs. I hate. This is a direct expression of dislike and frustration with a topic, trend, or feature. We only need to go through the comments of the vidIQ community for a minute to understand that a lot of our audience absolutely hate YouTube Shorts and AI in content. But at the same time, a lot of people want to embrace it. Why doesn't? That's often followed by a question or complaint about something that's missing. It's a gap in their knowledge, and you can help fill that gap. Finally, or as a rock might say, finally! This suggests that the content or perspective provided has been long awaited, or it addresses a previously unmet need or desire from the audience, or was wanted, reveals a deeper desire or interest in a topic. It suggests an area of content expansion on your channel. On the other hand, the phrase such as too much suggests oversaturation, excessive focus on a single topic. At that point, you probably need to change things up to keep your audience interested. Disagree would offer, I hope, a healthy contention or differing opinion in what you're saying, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. In fact, disagreement can be a great topic for a future video. Misleading. Yeah, you definitely don't want to see that in your video comments. The content in the video didn't meet the expectations of the title and the thumbnail, possibly clickbait. As you come up with each video idea, you want to be asking yourself this question before you even press record. Will this deeply resonate with what I understand to be my audience? That is how you identify what makes your viewers tick. And once you understand that, you double down on it. You make more videos. For a simple example, take a look at American news. You've got Fox and you've got CNN, right? Both of these have very different narratives, and both of these understand their viewer really well. What they do, and it's really quite simple, is reaffirm those beliefs to their viewers. And they kind of hate on the other side too, or lean into their viewers' dislikes. And it doesn't have to be political, right? When you think about it, you'll actually be surprised how many niches there are that have people who are heavily opinionated. Think of any sport in the world. There are dozens of teams that you can follow and support, but you only pick one and you love that team and hate the rest. Some you absolutely despise. And if you have millions of people who are highly opinionated, then a way to get tons of views and to earn cash from it is to reaffirm their beliefs. Viewers on YouTube love opinions and they can really buy into them. So don't sit on a fence. Have an opinion. Find an audience that shares that opinion and be strong and vocal about it. It's why I can say with confidence in this video, I hate TikTok. Now, yes, with outlandish comments such as that, you're not going to please everybody, and that should never be your intention on YouTube. What you do want to do is build a really close and deep connection with the audience that does share those beliefs and opinions. You want to be more than just a creator they watch on YouTube. You want to be their friend through the lens. Once you're able to do that, really focus on a target audience. Your channel will start growing really fast. But in order to do all of this, you've got to capture an audience's attention. and you're going to be doing that through thumbnails. Starting this year, you're going to want to make at least 2, ideally if you have time, 3 thumbnails per video. Now again, the question is why? Well, this year, YouTube have finally released their own A/B thumbnail testing tool called Test and Compare. We've already made a video on it showing you how it works because we were lucky enough to get early access to it. And quite frankly, we love it. But here's the kicker. This feature is soon going to be available to all creators, not just big channels. And to really make the most out of it, you're going to want to have 3 thumbnails ready to go for every video. Now, I can definitely hear you saying making thumbnails is a really hard thing to do and it takes me a lot of time, and now I've got to do 3 of them for each video. I get it. Thumbnails can be a challenge, but stick with me here because I'm going to share with you a few things that are going to make the whole thumbnail making process just a little bit easier. So let's move on to the how of making these 3 thumbnails. First, what's the main job of a thumbnail? It may surprise you to hear this, but it's not to win the click. The main job of a thumbnail is to grab attention. This is the scroll stopper. The thumbnail needs to make the viewer stop and look at the packaging. This is super important because a lot of folks get it wrong. They think making a thumbnail is like painting a Picasso, but it's actually way simpler than that. A thumbnail, maybe with a big red arrow for example, is just there to catch the viewer's eye. It doesn't have to be super fancy. Now the title, that's a different story. It plays a huge role in whether someone decides to click on a video or not. And yeah, I do wish we had A/B testing for titles as well, but that's a topic for another video. The second thing you need to know about thumbnails is about 99% of them are constructed from 5 different styles. So let's break them down for you. First up, we've got the mid-action thumbnail. This one's all about showing something intense happening. It's like capturing a moment of suspense that makes the viewer just have to click to find out what happens next. This works best if your video is about something extreme, unique, full of action. Next, we have the headshot. This one's pretty straightforward. You've got a headshot or a person on one side, and on the other side you've got a background image, text, or other elements related to the video's theme. This one is perfect for gaming, reaction videos, or anything involving celebrities. This tends to work best when there is something called familiarity bias, and you can check out our interview with April Lynn to fully understand what that means. But basically, it's when you or the subject or the object is well known and it adds value to the thumbnail. Next up, the editor is going to slice me in 2 to illustrate the split shot. Here, the thumbnail is divided into 2 parts that relate to each other in some way. It could show a before and after, a progression of time, or 2 different events. This one works best when you need to convey a sense of transformation in a video. Moving on to the conversation thumbnail now. This one shows people in mid-chat. This thumbnail could consist of multiple people or a single person with accompanying images, objects, elements, and text that provide extra context. This one's often used for podcasts, interviews, and channel collaborations. And last but not least, we've got the single image thumbnail. This thumbnail uses just one image as the focus, often with additional elements to provide more info. It's different from the mid-action thumbnail because the image can be less extreme. This one's perfect for content that isn't as action-packed, but still can be captured visually. A good example of this might be a tech product review. Now that you know these different thumbnail formats, and thanks to YouTube's new Test and Compare feature, you can try different thumbnails on the same video to see which ones click more with your audience. And remember, what you're trying to do here is know as much as possible about your audience so that you can serve them as best as possible. But this isn't the only change going on at YouTube in 2024. The Test and Compare feature will be greatly influenced by creators. But this change is being heavily influenced by viewers, and it could drastically impact the growth of your channel and how you make money from your content. The focus of YouTube consumption is shifting towards TV viewers at a rapid rate. This trend is set to continue in 2024, which means videos are only going to get longer. And why is this? Well, put simply, TV is catching up with streaming services. It's getting a little antiquated to take a cable, plug it into a box, and then plug that box into your TV to get all of your channels, right? Now it's all done through apps. Netflix, Hulu, Disney+. I mean, YouTube's been doing this for decades. It just feels like everybody else is catching up to this phenomenon. And the growth for living room viewership on YouTube is off the charts. And at the same time, the content produced on YouTube is evolving. There used to be a clear divide between content from major studios and individual creators. But now those lines are very much blurred because those individual creators have evolved themselves into major studios. And for convenience sake, viewers still like everything in one place. In my case, it's tech reviews from MKBHD or WWF 1990s wrestling from Wrestling Bios. Finally! And here's the real doozy. YouTube's search and discovery systems, or algorithms, know all of this. Have you ever noticed that you'll get different video recommendations when you're watching on TV as opposed to when you're using your mobile phone? That's because YouTube knows you have different watching habits depending on what device you're using. This is an expansion of YouTube's concept of serving up the right video to the right person at the right time on the right device. The stats surrounding YouTube consumption on TV are somewhat mind-boggling. Viewers globally now watch, on average, 1 billion hours of YouTube TV every single day. And this hasn't gone unnoticed by YouTube creators, especially the bigger ones. In the last 3 years, the number of creators who are receiving most of their watch time through TV has increased 400%. And another thing that changes when YouTube is watched on a television is advertising rates. RPMs are higher. And this is because TV viewers watch content for roughly twice as long as they do versus a mobile phone. For some channels, TV ad revenue is 3 times the amount it is on a mobile phone. And TV viewers get more ads, and they're less likely to skip them. So if you want to target more TV viewers, how do you do it? The simplest approach is this. Since viewers watch for longer, you should make longer videos. But of course, if your videos are longer, you need to retain the viewer's attention for longer. And that can be done by adding more depth to your content, but more importantly, storytelling. And again, because the viewer is watching on television, they're more relaxed, more laid back, not in so much of a rush. It allows you to deliver your content at a somewhat slower, more relaxed pace. But don't get this twisted. Don't just make longer content for content's sake. An optimized 8-minute video, remember 8 minutes will get you mid-roll ads, is still far better than a 20-minute video filled with fluff. Focus primarily on videos with good retention and then extend the video length as you continue to experiment. For example, take a look at creators like Miss Rachel and Cypher PK. The TV watch time on their channels doubled in the second half of 2023. And longer videos work in all sorts of niches, from sports compilations to podcasts. And here's something I bet you did not know. People are watching YouTube Shorts on TV. Having said all of this and throwing so many numbers at you about how YouTube is changing, some things remain the same and yet get even more important. Here's the deal. It's time for you to sit down and hammer out your own unique style guidelines. Nobody wants to be known as a copycat. Creators like Mr. Beast and Ryan Trahan didn't become successful by simply copying others. The issue is, when you don't have clear guidelines, you start to naturally mimic what everybody else is doing. So take some time to really think about what's going to make your content unique on YouTube. And here's a few areas to focus on. You can brainstorm around things like your humor and personality, the pace and rhythm of your videos, your production values, use of graphics, animation, text, along with your style of music and sound design. Believe it or not, there is a reason why I wear these somewhat unusual glasses and do this in every video. For example, under production value, would you rather be an iPhone filmmaker with a DIY vibe like Ryan Trahan, or are you going to go for high production, clean and polished like MKBHD? Here's one example. Jake Tran did a killer job breaking down the process in his video, YouTubers Will Never Tell You This. He looked at the 2 niches he watched the most, the make money finance investing niche and the infotainment niche. Next, he listed out the factors that made up those YouTube videos, like how intellectual the videos are, how much of a personal connection you had with the creator, and how much storytelling was involved. Check out this screenshot of a radar chart from Jake Tran's video. It compares 3 different categories based on various factors that influence YouTube video content: edutainment channels, finance channels, and me, which refers to Jake Tran's own YouTube channel or preferences. The chart shows the different levels of these factors for each category. Me scores highly on intellectualism and honesty, while scoring lower on selling and humour. The finance channels score high on personal connection and selling, but lower on storytelling and awe. Whereas edutainment channels have high scores on storytelling and intellectualism, but lower on selling and personal connection. The point is, each factor was carefully analysed, and this helped Jake decide which to increase, decrease, add, or eliminate from his content. This approach could help you too in defining your own unique content strategy. And all of this brings us back round to the final piece of the puzzle that I promised you earlier on in the video. Most creators ignore this, but it's what made Mr. Beast the genius he is today. This does sound a little intimidating and a little scary, but start a YouTube mastermind with at least one other creator and aim to meet for at least once a week for 2 hours. Mr. Beast attributes much of his success on having a close-knit group of friends who are obsessed with YouTube just as much as he is. And a big part of it was the power of learning from each other's mistakes and victories.
You mess up, you learn from your mistake. You in 2 years, might have learned from 20 mistakes. Or if you have like 4 other people who are also messing up, and when they learn from the mistake, they teach you what they learned. You 2 years down the road have learned like 5 times more of the amount of stuff. So it just like helps you grow exponentially way quicker.
And so they were all in this together, studying what makes a good video on YouTube, comparing thousands of thumbnails and figuring out what makes people continue watching videos, generally nerding out on YouTube every single day.
We all had like 10, 20,000 subscribers when we met. And by the time we stopped talking, we all had millions of subscribers. And we all hit 1 million subscribers like within a month. It's crazy.
So how do you make this happen? Because you're not Mr. Beast, right? And you don't have the same network and connections. Well, the story of April Lynn, who we mentioned earlier, may give you some inspiration. For her, it began with one person, Stella. Even though their channels were different, their attitude towards YouTube aligned perfectly. They started chatting weekly and brought in 2 creators with the same mindset and drive over time. And for them, the magic group number was 4. Keeping them intimate and efficient. So that's something for you to think about if you want to build your own close-knit YouTube network. Start small, find your Stella, and then grow organically. And before you know it, you'll be on your way to your very own YouTube mastermind. But here is the secret. For April Lynn, creating her own YouTube mastermind group was just the beginning. There was a series of steps she followed to blow up her own YouTube channel from nothing to 30,000 subscribers and 1 million views in just 6 months. And if you want to see how she did it, along with insights into her strategies for making killer YouTube videos, then this is what you need to click next.